The American Civil War was the deadliest conflict in American history. For decades, the United States had been divided over one major issue: slavery. The southern states depended on enslaved labor to sustain their plantation-based economy, while many northern states opposed the expansion of slavery into new territories. Tensions reached their peak when Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860, prompting 11 southern states to secede from the United States and form the Confederate States of America. In April 1861, the Confederate attack on Fort Sumter marked the beginning of the war. Over the next 4 years, the Union and the Confederacy fought hundreds of major battles, making it the bloodiest war in the nation's history. In 1865, the Union emerged victorious, reunifying the country. Later that year, the ratification of the 13th Amendment officially abolished slavery throughout the United States. The American Civil War not only preserved the Union, but also ended slavery, forever changing the course of American history.
Life after the Civil War. 1865 and beyond, the war ended in 1865. Life didn't reset. 4 million people were legally free, but freedom came without land or money. Freedmen's Bureau records show families searching for children sold away years earlier and negotiating labor contracts they could barely read. Southern cities like Richmond, Columbia, and Atlanta lay in ruins. Insurance maps and tax rolls document burned districts, shattered rail lines, and Confederate currency rendered worthless overnight. Veterans returned home missing limbs, pensions delayed or denied. The South lived under occupation. Federal troops enforced new laws. Loyalty oaths were required. Former Confederate leaders were barred from office, then slowly readmitted. Resentment hardened into memory. Black communities moved fast. Churches, schools, and political organizations formed almost immediately. By 1867, African-American men voted and held office across the South, while black codes, racial violence, and the Ku Klux Klan appeared in court records and congressional testimony. The North changed, too. War contracts became factories. National cemeteries expanded. Memorial Day began as mourning. The Civil War didn't end, it fractured into Reconstruction, unfinished and still felt.
When the South lost the Civil War, somewhere between 10 and 20,000 Confederates immigrated to Brazil, and many of their descendants, known as Confederados, are still there proudly waving the Confederate flag. Now, I totally get the self-exile aspect of this, but why Brazil? Well, it turns out that during the Civil War, the then Emperor of Brazil strongly supported the Confederacy. And once the South lost in 1865, he invited the Confederates to come on down to Brazil, where he gave them cheap land, easy access to citizenship, and even paid for some of their transport. Many ended up in a town now known as Americana in the state of Sao Paulo. Slavery was still legal in Brazil at the time, and the population was largely in favor of it. The self-exiled Confederates were able to purchase human beings at a lower cost than ever before, until Brazil finally made it illegal in 1888. Today, thousands in Brazil still celebrate their Confederate roots, waving the flag and hosting festivals that attract thousands more. But in the past few years, they've attracted some of the same controversy that you'd expect stateside, with groups protesting the use of the flag and debating its true meaning. This really does seem like another U.S. export the world may have been better off without.